Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. We're here today to discuss this multi-investor opportunity with the Briarwood apartment complex. Briarwood is a 60-unit apartment complex located at 2026 Carly Drive on the south side of Pueblo. I am here today with my brother, Treat Swami. He is a co-investor, and he is interested in this property to diversify his investments. Treat has a master's degree in economics, has been a landowner and property manager for over 15 years, so I've been relying on his experience quite heavily in this process. My name is Jennifer Martin White, and I currently hold a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration, and I'm currently working on my MBA. I've been in the human resources field for over 20 years, and I have property management company experience of 10 years. I'd like to remind us all what we toured today at the property. The Briarwood has very recently been renovated. It has new kitchen appliances, kitchen cabinets. There are new bathroom fixtures, new flooring and paint throughout. And I know you all remember that pool that we saw, and that is certainly a private pool only available to the residents of Briarwood. And then there is also the park real estate that is adjacent with picnic areas and a lot of room for everybody to run around in. But let's talk about what we're here for. We want to go ahead and talk about the investment. The Briarwood has an asking price of $6 million. And that breaks down with 60 units on the property. That breaks down to $100,000 price per unit. But what does that mean for an investor? And what really are you going to gauge as whether this is a good investment or not? First, let's look at the gross rent multiplier. A gross rent multiplier is the approximate number of years it would take the property to pay for itself in gross received rent only. So if we're just looking at the price of the property plus as a function of the paid rent, then we can go ahead and get the gross rent multiplier. We know that per unit, we will be charging $953.33 per month. If we multiply that by 12, and then again by the 60 units, we know that the gross annual rent for this property will be $686,397.60. You can't forget the cents. So then we take the asking price of $6 million divided by the gross annual rent, and we get the gross rent multiplier of 8.74. That lets us know that if we were only looking at the current rent that we are charging today of $953.33, it will take us under 9 years to pay off the property. Another way to evaluate your possible investment is with the net operating income. Net operating income is the annual income that a rental property will provide. So we look again at that gross annual rate that we just talked about. We then want to consider the vacancy rate. How often do units go unoccupied? We also want to subtract the operating expenses. So gross annual rent minus the vacancy rate minus the operating expenses gives us our net operating income. We know the gross annual rent for this property. Historically, the vacancy rent has been 7%. And then I've also listed here on this slide the operating expenses. You can see that we've accounted for property tax, hazard insurance, utilities, repairs. And those repairs are what we're considering to be the things that are unexpected. The air conditioning stops working in a unit. Maintenance, we're considering that maintenance amount to cover the general wear and tear, planned maintenance on the property. And then advertising and miscellaneous charges. We've saved an additional $15,000 for that in our budget. The estimated total expenses are $204,996. So when we calculate the net operating income, we come up with $433,353 $2,000,000.77. And again, that is the annual income that this rental property will provide. I know that a lot of investors are essentially looking for a quick and easy way to be able to assess if this is a good investment or not. And for that, we look at the cap rate. The cap rate is the net operating income divided by the asking price of the property. So we have those two numbers already. We do that quick math and we come up with 7.2%. A 7.2% cap rate is a very strong cap rate. The higher the cap rate, the higher the potential return on the property. And an average cap rate for a multifamily rental property is between 5 and 10%. So at 7.2%, we feel this is a strong investment for those who want to get on board with us. We looked at a lot of numbers and showed the equations, but here's a quick snapshot on that valuation. The asking price of the property is $6 million. The price per unit is $100,000. The gross rent multiplier, 8.74, meaning that it will take less than 9 years for the property to pay itself off just in the gross rent that is received. And then the cap rate we calculated at 7.2%. I'd next like to share with you an analysis of the return on your investment. We've broken this down to show what your investment will return during the next 4 years. You can see up there at the top, we've included the property value, which has an asking price of $6 million. We will be putting down $1.2 million, which we show is the equity that is in the property immediately. That means we would be taking a loan of $4.8 million. The analysis also includes the expenses, tax information, the depreciation on the property as it ages. So you can see how the effect of those next 4 years will have on your investment. We've also included the rent. You'll see that listed to the right of year 4. And you'll see that that increases because we're assuming a $50 per month increase in rent per unit every year. And then all the way to the right, the expenses are listed, the taxes, the insurance, the utilities. We have decided that in this property, we will wrap the utilities of electric and gas into the rent, and then it would be up to the renters to provide their own cable and internet if interested. So there at the bottom of that, you will see that we also did not include and consider any appreciation of the property. We're not very sure what the next 4 years will hold, and so we wanted to be extremely conservative when informing investors, and so we did not consider any appreciation. So at the very bottom, you will see that the annualized return on your investment would be 9.47%. But let's assume things maybe go a little better than we think right now. Let's look at the return on your investment with appreciation. Everything remains the same in this analysis. The property value, the down payment, the loan amount, the taxes, the increase in rent of $50 per month per unit. The expenses are still listed the same, but we decided to consider a conservative 3% appreciation rate. And in that case, you see that your annualized return on your investment increases to 19.52%. Again, just another indication that this is a very strong investment opportunity. But what is the investment opportunity? What are we looking for? As we have mentioned today, the down payment for the property will be $1.2 million. Treat and I are each investing $200,000 each. So we're looking for 8 additional investors that would be contributing $100,000 each. With that, you will see that your return on investment in the first year is 8.95%, second year, 19.19%, third year, almost 31%, and in that fourth year, a little more than 43.5%. As you can see, The newly renovated property of Briarwood is very appealing to renters. It is located on the south side of Pueblo and has wonderful amenities for families and any of those who are looking for a home and not just a temporary property. I hope you choose to invest with us, and we'd love to hear more from you. And if you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you very much and have a great day. Goodbye.